Thank you for joining today's Tech Talk, Introduction to Implementation Optimization Resources, Samples and Tools. Today's topic is Dynamics 365 Customer Service Channel Integration Framework version 2. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have the following Senior FastTrack Solution Architects present: Michele Mazzucco, Senior FastTrack Solution Architect, Ramanujam Raghunathan, FastTrack Solution Architect, and Avinash Mishra, also Senior FastTrack Solution Architect. And with that, Michele, over to you to get us started. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this new episode of our TechTalk series. In the previous episode, we had an introduction to FastTrack's implementation resources for Dynamics 365 customer service. If you missed the live event, you can access the recording from the link on this page. On this episode, we'll focus on content related to Channel Integration Framework, and in the next sessions, we'll present additional samples and tools for customer service and discuss topics such as testing and analytics. You will find the details on all upcoming TechTalk events for this and other series in the Dynamics 365 community portal. On this session, we'll talk about a tool called Simulator, a useful resource to start working with Channel Integration Framework. We'll also present a solution to handle click-to-dial outbound calls in Dynamics 365 Omnichannel. The resources you'll see today have been created by the FastTrack team. FastTrack is a customer success program by Microsoft, composed by a team of solution architects who will engage with customers and partners to support the design and implementation of Dynamics 365 solutions and go live with confidence. To learn more about FastTrack for Dynamics 365 and project eligibility, please refer to the link in the presentation. Success by Design is our prescriptive guidance and framework for designing, building, and deploying Dynamics 365 solutions. It is focused on the core principles of early detection, proactive guidance, and predictable success. If you want more information about Success by Design, you can explore the provided link. The implementation guide represents our collective knowledge and experience to lead customers and partners on their Dynamics 365 implementation journey. You can access the full implementation guide through the link in the presentation. As part of our implementation guide, we created a collection of resources like samples and tools and how-to guides to help organizations that are building a solution with Dynamics 365 customer service. Please refer to the previous episode if you want an overview of this collection and the different product areas it covers. You can access the homepage of our implementation resource at this link that we will also paste in the Q&A panel. We invite you to bookmark this page to access the full list of resources, and please check back regularly to discover new and updated content. Before we deep dive on today's content, let's answer some of the common questions about our implementation resources. We implement our deliverables by following best practices and recommendations. However, these are not considered part of the product. These resources must be considered community content, documentation, and starter samples to implement your own project, not a final product for production use. When you decide to use these resources, you will use them as a reference or guidance to build your own solution. All the articles are published in our Learn portal, which is curated by Microsoft. However, some resources will have a corresponding GitHub repo to host code samples and starter solutions. We will also evaluate additional collaboration opportunities in the future. If you have ideas, you can forward your proposals through the Ideas portal, which is one of the sources we evaluate for new deliverables. Additionally, if you have FastTrack engaged on your project, you can also share your suggestions with the assigned solution architect. Now, Ram, over to you to start our presentation.
Okay, thanks, Michele, for the quick intro on the implementation resources that we have created. Actually, we are going to cover the Channel Integration Framework, and the links in MS Learn for this document have been published along with other implementation resources which we have. And under the Channel Integration Framework, we are going to cover two focus areas, which is Simulator for SIF v2 framework and Click to Dial for third party. And as Michele said, bookmark this link, more updates are going to be followed. Okay. The intention of this implementation resource is to assist the partner and developer community to bridge some of the gaps which we may have, or address some of the common scenarios, or providing a best practice documents on certain topics. Those are covered under this. The resources are generally a collection of sample code, documents to help the customer service project with the various tasks like customization, configuration, and operation of the platform. The goal of this library is to provide easy to follow resource for the customer service developers and users. Today, the main focus area is channel integration framework, and click to dial for the third-party channel provider. Why channel integration framework? The organization expects their call center to do more while using a fewer resources. There are constant drive to increase productivity by having a call center agent handle more phone calls, reducing the average time to handle customer calls, and save a company millions of dollars. A telephony channel in a call center is one of the key indicators for the success and customer satisfaction score. Before channel integration framework, some of the challenges the call center industry may face are integrating with third-party telephony channel with the CRM platform, and performing the operation of CRM platform from the telephony widget area, and deploying and building a solution which is not a complex custom code and which supports to work. The traditional telephony applications are primarily in the past have been work on certain browser versions or certain Windows version. To eliminate all these dependencies and also to ease up integration with Dynamics 365, we have had a channel integration framework. It is primarily a set of APIs which has methods, events, and protocol that enables a developer and partner to build an immersive communication experience, such that the third-party communication widgets running on channel provider cloud can interact with the Dynamics and any modern-driven app. And some of the advantages of channel integration framework, leveraging channel integration framework to work with your telephony channel providers are, you can bring in your own telephony provider, and channel integration provides an extensible framework to integrate with third-party cloud-based telephony channels, and including the ones that have been developed internally or hyper-local with modern-day driven apps in Dynamics 365. There are a lot of ISVs which supports the keenly used enterprise level systems like Genesis and Avaya. There are ISV who build their native integration using our channel integration framework that can connect to Dynamics with a single session or multi-session app. And these APIs will enable you a two-way communication, both inbound and outbound processes to your business. And these are standard and supported APIs. Ease of development. The APIs have been exposed and those can be consumed and handle certain events. So that will ease out your development and handle the better business process and workflows. And it is independent of operating system or web browser. Channel integration framework is agnostic to web browser and operating system, let you integrate a cloud-based channels that are best for your organization requirements. And model-driven agnostic, if you're using any model-driven app, you can use channel integration framework to connect to your telephony provider and do your business process. And you can also customize your agent experience. You can customize your channel programmatically or manually to provide an enhanced agent experience, like maximizing and minimizing or showing a pop-up when the call comes in. And there are two versions of channel integration framework. The version 1 and version 2 there are two versions, and the version 1 is primarily a single session app, and it's the channel provider of your choice can be used. And generally, we recommend them to use for the model-driven apps such as sales, project service, or field service, those applications. And who are familiar with channel integration framework, the version 1 is an app source solution published by Microsoft, and it comes as a separate solution. You need to install it to leverage those capabilities. And it provides an immersive experience for voice, SMS, or chat channel with any single session app in Dynamics app. Whereas the Dynamics 365 channel integration framework 2.0 is to integrate telephony channel provider of your choice. It supports multiple telephony provider, and also it supports multiple sessions. Currently supported apps are customer service workspace or any custom model driven app which is enabled for multi-session can leverage the channel integration framework 2.0 APIs. Some of the key differentiators on version 2.0 is it supports a lot of session management APIs or application tab management APIs and notification management APIs, which is not available in version 1.2. And other key feature in call center that are required is channel analytics. The channel analytics can be enabled for channel integration framework 2.0. Why channel analytics is important is the contact center analytics requires both operational and conversation data to provide historical and real-time insights into performance of the contact center. To get the precise insights into call center performance, the analyst needs the data from multiple places. One is CRM transaction data, that is about your customer, their case, their journey, and all around relationship with the organization that is stored within your Microsoft database. Then comes the communication data, the data about the interaction that is intended, ongoing, or completed with the known and unknown customers. And agent behavior data, the data about the behavior of agent before, during, and after the interaction. If you want to build this contact center analytics solution without channel analytics model, you might face a lot of challenges like disjointed or distributed communication data. You need to have a separate system to aggregate this information and provide a good dashboards for the supervisors or contact center admin to process this data. And then agent behavior can be monitored. And those are the key benefits you see with your channel integration framework. And it generates, other benefits includes, it generates instrumentation for an agent behavior on Dynamics 365. It standardizes the schema, how the analytical data will be stored, and it defines a mechanism to correlate the communication data between multiple providers, CRM transactional data, and also agent behavior data. We have published a set of APIs which can be consumed by the telephony provider to send their analytics, and which can be later built upon the enterprise level dashboards for the contact center. And it supports, the best part of it is that each telephony provider can pass their own payload, which they have, and then we can store that information and process it for our reporting. And now we will go into topic of SIF Simulator 2.0. This implementation resource is easily deployable solution that provides a sample for key SIF API scenarios like session creation and custom pages to interact to get the session and notify an agent in a session. And there are some scenarios like there are customer interacting with us and you are in another session and you want to notify the session to an agent and then create a record on incoming call. You want to automate a process. I will create my phone call activity automatically or case to be created automatically. Those are some of the common scenarios we see in contact centers when we discuss and integrate with our telephony provider. Okay. To understand how the Dynamics Channel Integration Framework API works, we have created a resource of applications that can be deployed in your instance, and data can be changed according to your environment, and test it out quickly to get an understanding of how the SIF framework works. Not only you can get a hands-on on this application, it also provides a code behind, which you will see it in later, which provides a code behind of APIs, what APIs are used, what parameter being passed to each APIs. So it can help if somebody newly migrating from Unified Service Desk or newly building their contact center application, integrating with the telephony provider with the Dynamics. It helps the developers, partners to quickly ramp up and understand how the SIF framework works with the multi-session. To showcase the channel integration framework API capabilities, we have created a sample application, and it comes as part of a Dataverse solution, and it is published in our GitHub. And also the setup document is pretty much detailed out for this demo to work it out. Okay. There are certain prerequisites that are required for this application to work, and those are covered in our MS Learn. If we go under samples and tools, and if you click on the setup a channel integration framework, it covers out the detailed step or prerequisite which are required to configure for this application to work. Some of them are creating a notification template, session template, and application tabs, which you want to try it out as part of the API capabilities. Let me go into the application. And also, we have exposed certain attributes which we are using it out for the demo. And this can be changed according to the user's data, which they have it in the Dataverse, so that it provides the real capability of a data, what is present and how it is behaving. These can be changed, and those steps are also called out in our talk. And for this demo, I'm using the voice identify session as my template. And let's take a look into it, what this template is configured. This template is configured with a customer name whenever the session is created. If customer is known, we want to create a session with a customer name and create a case, open the tab with the case record and also the customer information if we have already known. Okay. Let's take into the scenarios of commonly used scenarios for the channel integration. So one of the pretty common scenarios is notify an agent when the call comes in, and also open the additional information that are required for agent. One of the automations as per our configuration is to create a case and open the additional information about the customer. These scenarios will vary for customer to customer, but these are pretty much configurable as part of your session template configuration. Okay. Let's take into the scenario of notifying an agent. As soon as you click it, it uses the channel integration framework API to notify an agent, and on accept offer, it opens and creates a case, and also it opens the customer information as configured as part of our session template, which we saw earlier. Okay. And not only this, application does the actions, and also it shows the code behind it. What is the method that has been used to automate this, and what is the SIP APIs we are being using it out to create those has been called out as part of this sample, and also what parameters are required for this to work. So it gives a clear understanding for hands-on key developers to understand what are the SIP APIs we need to use and what is the required parameter to be passed so that it can be leveraged in each of the business requirements. Okay. And let me go back and play around the next scenario. What I want to showcase it out is like get all the sessions. I have 2 sessions open and I want to know what other sessions are opened, and I want to do certain automation like creating a tab under that session. You can do those. Like for example, when I click on get all sessions, it is going to show all the sessions that are opened. And I want to change the session title dynamically when I'm creating it out, which cannot be created using the slugs. I want to do it dynamically. You can do those. If you can see that this is session 2, I changed the session title. I want to notify certain urgency in this current session. All these samples, which we are doing it out, it has the corresponding SIF API methods, which we are using it out. And also what are the parameters you need to pass to make the sample work, okay, this API work. And let me change the presence of an omni-channel presence of an agent. If you can see here, before changing it, it is available. I'm going to mark them as away using the SIF API. And one of the common scenarios, creating a Dataverse record. And this, for this demo, I'm using it out at case record creation. This can be any entity based on your application template, which you are configured. I clicked on the creation of the case. You can see that the case has been created. Not only that, the sum of the parameters I have configured here, based on that, the information is used to create a case, and the like session title, like unable to log in, I have specified here what is my subject and what is a customer. It has created using those. And the additional thing, it's also one of the common things is after a certain automation, I want to close the tab. For that, like I'm closing the tab. And what is, as I said, any method, any of these scenarios you are using it out, it is going to provide you the APIs which we are using it out as part of the SIP, and also what is the parameter you need to use. Okay. And other pretty common scenarios where I have a legacy application and I want to pull the data and showcase it out when the call comes. For this demo, I'm using it out a custom page to create a session and search the contact, and user can load the session. Let's look into this example by using the create session with custom page. And the call comes in. Now the scenario is I want to open a external application or external data. I need to read it from a legacy application, and then I want to load the data. Right? I'm using it out as a contact search as an example. It can vary to scenarios. But as you can see, this is a custom page, and it loads that information and it automatically searches. These logics are written in a custom page, but it passes the context, what the incoming call is, who is all about, and it searches. If there are multiple are there, it will list down all. If not, it makes the exact search results, and I can create a session with this contact, start a session with this contact, and work upon on this. And our intention of this is to show the common scenarios and also understand what's the code behind of this. And now we will take a look into the click to outbound dialer. The click to outbound, this sample solution is primarily a resource that helps you to optimize the Dynamics 365 implementation, where it is not currently available as a capability in Channel Integration Framework API. That is, if you are integrating with your telephony channel provider and you want to make an outbound call from any of a Dataverse records, most of the telephony providers they have their own widget and they do the outbound dial from that widget. But we have seen commonly used scenarios on implementation in contact centers where agents are working in, and every click matters. They are working in a contact or account or any form, and they want to make a call, right? Like when they want to make a call from that screen rather than coming back to a widget and then making an outbound call process. So that's a common scenario that we come across. To address that, we have created a custom control which provides an option to make an outbound call with the third-party channel provider. And also it can be used as a standalone phone number inputting control. Like if I don't want a phone call, outbound call to be dialed here, you can use as a standalone phone number inputting. So that can help the agent experience and minimize the error of agent inputting the number, right? And currently we are leveraging, this works in customer service workspace, multi-session app. And currently we are leveraging some of our omni-channel capabilities to achieve this. And this can be deployed on any form in Dataverse entity and tie it up with the text field, and then you should be good to go with this control. Okay. And why we built this? Because this is currently not available as a channel integration framework API as such to initialize an outbound call. So we come across with this resources to assist in that process. This is to showcase the outbound dialer control. I have configured this outbound dialer control on the contact record. Let me open the contact record. As you can see, I have configured this control on the mobile phone attribute, and this control provides the ability to select the desired country, and I'm choosing United States here. As soon as the country is chosen, the country code for that country is populated, and then the phone number format for that country is shown here. And the control has a validation to verify the required number of digits is entered for that country. And when the user want to make an outbound call, they can initialize the outbound call from the contact entity, and the ability to integrate with the third-party provider can be done. And additional parameters that require to be passed to when they are making an outbound call can be made changed. The control source code is available in GitHub. The changes can be made to pass additional parameters that are required for the third-party provider. For this demo purpose, I'm using an omni-channel as a provider. As soon as I launched the outbound call, it opened me the outbound call control of omni-channel, and then I'm ready to make the outbound call.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you for the presentation. There are a few questions that people could have about these resources. So, first of all, you showed us the channel integration framework simulator. So it looks like a good set of examples of what I can do with the channel integration framework. A question might be, do I need to be an expert or do I need to have previous experience with channel integration framework to use this resource, or what's in it for me if I am a beginner?
That's a good question which we commonly come across. And for this one, that's where even if it is you are a beginner who is trying to implement the customer service workspace to integrate with the third-party channel provider, or you're already familiar with channel integration framework, this simulator can help you to assist to work on how the commonly used scenarios are being addressed and what are the APIs being used. For the beginners, it will give you more of what parameter needs to pass and which method to call and all those information. Even for the persons who are familiar with this also provides some of the new capabilities of channel integration V2, which is not previously there in version 1.0. So that leverages those. So it will help them to look into it and play around with it. Always when you play around with this working solution, it gives a confidence to go ahead and build it on their implementation.
Cool, thank you. So first of all, I can play around and see what the different possibilities are. Then I can see the actual result on my screen. And then if I want, I can see what the parameters and scripts related to that scenario are. That's really interesting to start learning, or as you said, if you are already experienced, then maybe you can learn something new about some of the capabilities you might not know that were there. Cool. And again, about the simulator, does this work also with Channel Integration Framework version 1?
This current simulator works for channel integration version 2 because we are using some of the APIs that are specific to version 2, like session management APIs or notification APIs and application tab APIs. Having said that, this solution we have published in GitHub as unmanaged and managed solution. Both versions are there. And also our configuration steps details out of each of the steps that needs to be done and what each method does. So if somebody wants to make the changes for the version 1 APIs, they should be able to make these changes and quickly set it up to see how it works in version 1.
Nice. And also, I guess, Channel Integration Framework 2.0, as you mentioned earlier, is shipped automatically with Customer Service Workspace, and it's our preferred suggested choice for building applications in customer service.
Yes. Whenever we want to go with multi-session and on Customer Service Workspace, the Channel Integration Framework 2.0 is a recommended integration framework. The reason being enterprise contact centers can also have multiple channels and multiple providers. So all these are supported using Channel Integration Framework 2.0.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks for the clarification. And then since you mentioned the telephony provider, will I be able to work with the simulator on an end-to-end scenario with my telephony provider?
Hey, that's a great question. Currently, the solution that we have published, it shows only the native capabilities of Channel Integration Framework version 2.0. But I would ask the audience to look out for this space in the implementation resource. Soon we are going to publish a sample adapter that can showcase the capabilities of end-to-end, where I can send some payload from external system and it just notifies the agent with a call. So that gives some idea about how we can make an end-to-end integration.
Cool. So a new resource will be published at the link that we are providing to also cover this scenario in the future. Really interesting. Another question about the SIF simulator might be, if I am going to use that in my organization, is that a black box, or do I have any possibility to customize this solution to my liking?
Currently, we have provided both unmanaged and managed solution. If you use unmanaged solution, you can customize those resources, which according to your need. But the intention of this resources is to get an idea of what it is. But when they implement it, the scenarios may vary, the requirements may vary, but this can help them to quickly figure out how these APIs work, and then they can build upon on their own.
Interesting. And yeah, and also as we said, the code for the solution, we have the GitHub repo for that, so people can actually see how we build that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Now, talking about the other resource that you showed us, the click-to-dial solution. So that will work seamlessly with my current solution, so my forms and my current fields. So as soon as I activate this control, there's no other changes I need to do to my data model solution, right?
Currently, the control as such, it will work, but each telephony providers for outbound call, they may have set up defined data payload to be passed when they make an outbound call. So that requires to be changed. But this control is published in GitHub. The source code is available. So the users can take the source code and make the changes to their payload that is required by the telephony provider. Other than that, as such as a control functionality, it should work as it is when we deploy the solution.
Yeah, great. So in terms of Dataverse and my UI, I should not impact much of my current solution. But as you said, of course, everybody would have a different provider, and I might need to tweak something for my specific architecture on that. Yeah, it makes sense. And as you showed us in the demo, this will not only assist me in actually placing the outbound call, but it's also useful to help users doing in-place edits, because you're formatting the phone number and you get the prefix for country and all these kind of settings that are also helpful during edit phase, right?
Yes. In the contact center scenarios on telephone voice-based, one of the key information is phone number, where we don't want agents to make a mistake and also guess how many digits are, whether I entered in the right format, all those things. So this control provides the capability to format the phone number, validate the phone number, and all those controls that are very common in contact center agent experience to enhance the agent experience. This control will help.
Yeah, cool. So less clicks, less mistakes seems like a good deal to me. One other question again about the click-to-dial solution. Is there any possibility I can pass additional Dataverse data as a parameter for my third-party channel provider?
Currently, we are using a PCF control for this. So in the PCF control source code, you can make your API calls to get the additional data based on the payload context, and then you can pass it to your third-party channel provider.
So that will be all for our questions today. I just want to remind all of our audience that they can visit our community portal, where they will find information about all the future events that we have for FastTrack Tech Talks for this specific series, but also on different series that we will publish. Here on this site, you will find all the information about upcoming Tech Talk events, and you can subscribe to that. This concludes today's Tech Talk event. Thank you very much for attending, and thanks to our presenters and to you, our audience, for attending our Tech Talk today. We hope you have a great rest of the day ahead.